Jason Momoa goes from water to ice. Well, isn't that frosty? What is up, Flick fans? Welcome back to my channel. Just saw a piece of news that I found extremely interesting, so today we're going to talk about it. What does this mean? What kind of movie is this? Frosty the Snowman live action picture for Warner Brothers and Stampede. Deadline dropped this article. Again, I'm not breaking the news, just talking about it. If you enjoy these videos, be sure to leave it a thumbs up. But yes, Jason Momoa, an interesting, strange choice for Frosty the Snowman. Not the first guy that comes to mind. Now, I like to be open-minded with things like this, especially when it's a lot of nostalgia at work here. We think of Frosty the Snowman, we think of all of the shows and movies that we grew up with, multiple interpretations, but Jason Momoa, again, is not the first voice that comes to mind. But it's all according on what direction, what tone they have with this movie. So let's take a look at this article and talk about the others involved with this. So, Warner Brothers and Stampede have teamed up for Frosty the Snowman. John Burke and Greg Silverman of Stampede will produce this movie along with Jeff Johns, and a lot of you will recognize this name with Momoa as well. So, Burke and Silverman were the Warner Brothers executives who helped architect the DC franchise launch with Aquaman and James Wan. So now they're doing the same with Frosty the Snowman, apparently. If you're unfamiliar with those names, John Burke has produced movies, obviously, like Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Justice League, and the one I found extremely interesting, and here's where my hope for this film grows a bit. If you scroll down here and you look at 2003, you see Elf. Now, Elf is one of my favorite Christmas movies of all time. I see a producer who's been involved with that film coming over to a project that is very different in nature. Obviously, you have Jason Momoa taking on Frosty the Snowman, but that gives me a lot of... it makes me feel better. I'll say that much in terms of what John Burke is going to bring. Looking at Greg Silverman, different movies as a producer, but something like the Lego Movie Part 2, 10 Things I Hate About You, so kind of that quirky, interesting tone. Then we have Jeff Johns from comic book fame, if you guys aren't familiar with that, but he is not just a producer, but a writer on a movie such as Aquaman, on a show such as The Flash and Titans, and a bit of Wonder Woman 1984, and the upcoming Green Lantern project that they're working on as well. So a lot of interesting names with a big comic book attachment, so you're transferring what they do so well with comic book movies and show into this Christmas-based IP that is hopefully going to bring a lot of joy to kids, but we still don't know, and that's my big question, and one I pose to you all. What do you believe the tone for this movie is going to be? Well, if you have a more rough and raggedy voice like Jason Momoa, obviously, I think so anyway, Frosty the Snowman is going to be a bit more hardcore than what we're used to. If we go all the way back to 1969, the Frosty the Snowman that I'm familiar with, and Austin, you didn't grow up in 1969. Well, I feel like most kids, my generation and lower, had these kinds of movies. I mean, obviously we have Rudolph, we have Frosty, but these kinds of movies growing up. So this is the Frosty that I'm used to, with Jackie Vernon playing Frosty, Paul Frees playing Santa Claus, and just a beautiful film and this stylistic animation. I think it would be so wonderful if they bring something like that to this new movie. And then you look at Elf, a producer that's been involved with that. You look at the character of Leon the Snowman. It wasn't Frosty the Snowman, but that kind of animation. Are they going to incorporate that into this film? So very interesting, a Christmas movie to look forward to. It's not very often we get films that turn into Christmas classics, movies like Elf, and obviously the OGs like Home Alone and It's a Wonderful Life, but I would like to see this film at least work, even though from the outside looking in, it does sound a bit odd getting Jason Momoa as Frosty the Snowman. We'll just have to see how it works out. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoy these kinds of videos covering this type of news that has to do with nostalgia and characters like this, please let me know. Smash that thumbs up button. I would love to do more, and your comments are appreciated. I'll see you guys soon.